It's similar to what the Steelers are suffering from for the most part. Throughout the years when we've seen the greatness of Aaron Rodgers, and clearly we haven't seen enough of that this year. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not completely absolving him. But when we've looked at the Green Bay Packers, we've seen Rodgers as the guy that was so great, he's going to come to the rescue. Green Bay's defense bent and bent and bent all the time. It was rare that they were considered elite. Clay Matthews may have been elite in terms of getting to the passer, but overall as a defense, Clay Matthews, Sam Shields would do their job. But collectively, we looked at them and we didn't see greatness. And this year, they're awful. Now, obviously, injuries play a role. There's no doubt about that, and we understand that. And Eddie Lacy and his ankle injury inhibiting their offense to some degree, we've seen that. Aaron Rodgers go 31 for 51 for 375 yards yesterday, 371 yards yesterday with 2 TDs, but 2 interceptions. But to me, 21-0 in the first quarter to the Tennessee Titans, ultimately losing to Marcus Mariota, ultimately giving up 35 points in the first half. And this is in the aftermath of Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy saying the things that they've said. I'm looking at McCarthy. Do I think he deserves to be fired? No, he's been in the playoffs every year. The man's a credible coach. But I did ask the question last week, Ryan, to Max and Molly. I said, even though you're making the playoffs every year, damn, you got the greatest one of the greatest quarterbacks of this generation. Somebody that was arguably recognized as the best coming into this season, even after last year struggling. And you got one Super Bowl appearance and nothing else. And I'm just saying to myself, Mike McCarthy and this defense, damn, Ted Thompson, the general manager, and this defense, who believes in building through the draft. What is going on? It is time to ask these questions because I think Green Bay's in a world of trouble.
Real quick, if you give up 21 first quarter points, you're probably going to lose the game. And Aaron Rodgers can't play defense. It's as simple as that. And then when he starts to make a little bit of an attempt at a comeback and the defense keeps leaking, you're going to lose. Not Aaron Rodgers' fault. They're not playing defense. That's it.
That's it. You're done?
I'm done.
That was quick. Well, here's the reason why they aren't playing defense, right? Sam Shields on IR. Clay Matthews has been hurt. Randall has groin surgery, who was the second cornerback. Dom Capers' team is built on a fire zone scheme, which means they bring 5 players and play basically a matchup zone on the back end. You need corners that can cover. They don't have the guns. And so now if Dom Capers doesn't switch his mindset and say, okay, we're going to protect these people, you're going to have some games where you give up points. That's part of it. And to your point, Stephen A., when Aaron Rodgers got to the Super Bowl, it was Nick Collins, who's one of the more underrated safeties that's played in this generation, had to retire because of a neck injury. Tramon Williams, Charles Woodson,
the horses.
Clay they had the horses. And it wasn't because Aaron Rodgers was so great. That was a top 5 defense. So the Patriots and now maybe Seattle, they've got us all confused, right? For Stephen A. to say, and you only have 1 Super Bowl appearance, do you know how hard it is to get to the Super Bowl? So it's not necessarily like you can knock them for only winning 1 in his 10-year, now 11-year tenure. It's tough to get there.
Favre only got 1.
Can I respond to that?
Definitely.
1-1.
Last 3 years, Green Bay has ranked like 22 or worse against the run. This year, obviously, they're having problems due to the injuries in their secondary against the pass. But here's why I bring that up. I in no way mean any kind of disrespect to players, former or current, in that regard. I understand that it's the ultimate team game and it's very, very difficult. But you know what's even harder than playing in the NFL? As somebody that never played, I'm going to speculate here, finding an elite quarterback.
I agree with that.
And so my point is that the Ryan Clarks of the world and the Damian Woodies and the Mark Schlerets and the Merrill Hodges and the NFL aficionados that surround us on this campus and in this building. Because regardless of the reporter, the extraordinary reporter I've been over the last 2 decades, by the way, regardless of all of that,
sometimes if you don't toot your own horn, there's no music.
There we go. See, that's what I'm saying. Hey, that's the way to listen. Pounding that pavement, being that beat writer for damn near 20 years. Hell yeah, I'm going to add some credit to myself. Here's the deal. I listen to guys who know. And y'all can't have it both ways. You can't talk about how difficult it is to accomplish X, Y, and Z on an NFL level collectively But then in the same breath, talk about how paramount and how pivotal it is to have that quarterback. If I have Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback and I'm an owner, I'm looking at Mike McCarthy and I'm like, yo, man, what's up? What? This all I got?
You'd like to get a little bit more done with Aaron Rodgers as quarterback. I want to make one point.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree with that. It's not like they're way underachieving, but you're not way under. I mean, with that guy as your QB.
One thing I want to say is a few of them.
A part of rooting for teams is rooting for laundry. You know, like the Pittsburgh Steelers' reputation is defense. Same thing with the New York Giants. Northeastern, family-owned, Rooney's, Maras, you know, the whole thing. The bottom line is, at the moment, they have teams that are constructed more offensively, at least in recent years. It wasn't the LT Giants or the Giants that beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. It was a pass-happy offense without a lot of pass rushers for the Giants. Same thing with the Steelers. Run the ball, stop the run. No, they turned into a defense that couldn't cover the pass, couldn't stop the run, but, man, they could score a lot of points. And the branding of those teams has us thinking about them differently from what they really are. I give credit to coaches like Tomlin, like McCarthy, like whomever, who can take what they got and say, forget about the branding of this team and the laundry for a second. They're in this uniform. How do I win this game? How do I win this game this week? Offense or defense, come what may. And that's what's happening in Green Bay. That's what's happening in Pittsburgh. I know it's off-brand, but they're just trying to win with what they got.
No, that's how it has to work. That's how you have to adapt. You have to adjust, whether it's rules or people. You have to figure out how to put a competitive team on the field. The one thing I will say about Aaron Rodgers is, you follow him because of his play. When Aaron Rodgers plays really well, you can follow him. He's not going to lead you by what he says, about the way he presents himself. Because every time he talks in the post-game interviews, I want to throw up.
Yeah, he doesn't exude confidence and passion.
Why do you want to throw up?
Confidence, yes, but not passion.
Because I feel...
That's strong. Why do you want to throw up?
Because I feel there is an arrogance when he speaks that the cloud, like, remember Pigpen had the little cloud that floated around? The cloud says, it's not me.
All right, I got it. But I'm going to throw this to you to end this segment. I'm going to throw this to end this segment because I hear Ryan talking. I am.
Ryan,
I got a question. Got a question. Because he is a bad man. Yeah. If you were playing and Aaron Rodgers was your quarterback, what would your expectations be as it pertains to results?
I would expect to win games.
It's all the brothers.
But you don't need to talk about it in the press conference.
No, that's what I'm saying. We can sit there and talk about nitpick and go, you don't need to do that.
This won't be the end of this.
Because if Cam did it,
we'd be nitpicking that.
Cam ain't him. I said it.
All right,
Seattle.
we gotta go.
I said
we
it.
could have done a whole topic on this. Ryan, thank you so much for being here.
I love Cam. He ain't Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you for making sense. Coming
Seattle.
up,
please.
Romo
You got a lot of nerve. You must be
back
crazy.
next week. But how much longer will Romo have with that job in Dallas? Find out that answer. You win a chance to debate Stephen A. and Max right here on national television. All you have to do is go to firstTakeYourTake.com, upload a 1-minute video with your best original sports debate. Keep it clean. 2 winners will be selected by our show staff. So get busy. We could see you at the debate desk taking on the fellas. Here's a few of the latest.
Now, I'd like to address the topic that you all discussed earlier pertaining to Mr. Dak Prescott. Tell me why he can't win MVP. The run game and the passing game are both inseparable. Ezekiel Elliott doesn't get lit if Dak Prescott is not already on fire.
League's MVP as of right now, I have Matt Ryan over Derek Carr and Tom Brady. I think it's pretty impressive to beat the defending Super Bowl champ and the NFC champ in back-to-back weeks. They lost on the technicality in Seattle, but then they came home and beat your Green Bay Packers.
The Raiders, they just win baby mentality. They are a force to be reckoned with. The black hole is back. Derek Carr is my MVP this season.
All right.
I love the young lady sassiness.
She was great.
She was energetic. The other dude looked swole, like he on steroids, like he was on steroids or something. I don't know about that, but he was good. He was good. They were all good, but
you know it when you see it. When someone's feeling it, she was feeling it, you can see it.
Had the it factor?
I liked her.
All right.
She had the it factor. She did.
You know who else has the it factor? Ezekiel Elliott. I think it's safe to say the Cowboys are feeling pretty good about their 4th overall pick. Over 1,000 rushing yards through 9 games, 3 TDs, including the game winner in Pittsburgh Sunday, 8 straight wins. Ezekiel Elliott is taking the league by storm, and he's just a rookie. We asked you earlier in the show, should Zeke be the MVP favorite? The results are in. 59% say yes. Ryan, how we doing? Good to see you.
Good. How are you guys?
We are
I
fantastic.
know my man over here. I know you're not feeling good today. I want to apologize on behalf of the organization. You know, we as the Pittsburgh Steelers understand the love you have for us and the hatred you have for the Dallas Cowboys. So I know it was tough for you to get up this morning.
It's going to be hard.
But I really like your outfit.
It's going to be hard. I appreciate that. It's going to be hard for me. I don't even want to talk to the Steelers right now.
All right. Let's talk about another subject that you love, how well the Cowboys are doing. Should Zeke be the favorite to win NFL MVP?
In the interest of fairness, I must confess, yes. As of right now. When you consider the season that the Cowboys are having, combined with the way that he's been running the football since week 2, he's averaging 5.1 yards per carry overall. He's on course to eclipse the rookie rushing record of 1,800-plus yards. This massive offensive line, I mean, I'm so disgusted because I've got mixed emotions because obviously he's a Cowboy, but I got love for him, and I'm proud of the job that he's doing. I look at that offensive line and the hole they're creating for him. I'm looking at 3 touchdown runs that he had yesterday. Steelers didn't even touch him. I mean, he wasn't even touched. He wasn't even touched. A matter of fact, 82 of his 114 yards rushing was before contact. I mean, that's just embarrassing. Oh, my God. I digress. I'm sorry. I'm just so disgusted with the Steelers right now. Having said that, Ezekiel Elliott has been doing damage against a lot of people. Dak Prescott deserves a lot of credit. I get all of that. But you got to wonder, even though I believe Dak Prescott would still be good, you got to wonder how good he would be if you didn't have the running game that he has at his disposal. Of course, I'm thinking Tom Brady, ultimately, the Russell Wilsons of the world deserve consideration. But right now, the way the Dallas Cowboys are rolling, the only people that you can give credit to more than Ezekiel Elliott is the offensive line.
That's the point, though. Who was better, Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders?
Barry Sanders.
No one thinks Emmitt Smith. I mean, sorry, at the time, no one thought Emmitt Smith, but he was running behind an all-time great offensive line. Ezekiel Elliott, let me just say for the record, Cowboys fans, because I thought he was I thought he would be a good pro. And early on in the season, I said, I don't know. He doesn't look that fast, but he didn't look fast east-west. Boy, he got some north-south speed, like in a straight line. Forget it. And he's patient and smart and has a next gear when he needs it that results in these huge gains. But to your point, Stephen A., on his touchdowns this season, he's gone 101 yards. Yards before contact, 81. 3.9 yards per rush before first contact yesterday. What that means? No, sorry, they didn't touch him yesterday. He was not contacted on those situations yesterday. So how is he an excellent player? Yes, he is. But he's not better than Todd Gurley. I mean, Todd Gurley is facing stacked boxes. He has no quarterback. He doesn't have the same offensive line, etc. But he looks better than Todd Gurley right now.
Well, here's the thing, though. That's not what MVP is won, though, right? It's not necessarily like, is he the best running back? MVP is based on what you do during that year, and a lot of times how well your team plays because of what you've done. Which is why Derek Carr right now, for me, is the lead candidate for the MVP. The way that he's brought that team back at the end of games, the clutch throws, whether it be New Orleans, whether it be Tampa Bay, overtime, he's the guy driving that train right now, directing and conducting that train to have them 7-2 atop the AFC West, which is the toughest conference in the NFL. But to Ezekiel Elliott, if there was MVP voting on the team, he'd be third. First would be guys by the name of Free, Martin, Frederick, Leary, Smith. They're the MVPs of that team. And they can win it, actually, because players can stand for players. There's no rule. The P can stand for players, not player, right? Dak Prescott is a leading candidate for the MVP over Ezekiel Elliott. As the league goes, he's number 2 for me, because think about last year without Tony Romo. Castle, Whedon, Moore. They were awful. That's the reason we said they had to get a quarterback. But you look at this team now, the drive to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, that's not Ezekiel Elliott, right? That wasn't Ezekiel Elliott making plays. That was Dak Prescott having the presence, having the poise to bring them back. So when you look at this team in general,
he's number 3 on the team. One thing real quick, I know Matt Ryan wasn't great in the second half last year, But over the course of this entire season, if you're actually talking about value for a player, I would say it's still Matt Ryan. He was making throws in the first half of that game that only a handful of quarterbacks, period, can make. I know he's throwing it to Julio Jones early on, but still, when you look at what Matt Ryan's done this year, one mediocre second half and a loss, to me, does not throw away the work he's done. I would still say he should be the MVP.
Let me disagree with you. First of all, Emmitt Smith not only won a league MVP, he won a Super Bowl MVP. We knew he was about that behind that offensive line. It didn't stop him from getting those rewards. That's number one. Number two, we know we're not going to give it to the offensive line. I mean, we say they deserve it, and we know they do, but they ain't getting the damn award, okay? So let's be realistic. We ain't got to. Have you ever? Has there been?
I'm not saying the team MVP.
Has there been an offensive line that got a league MVP?
No.
Then stop it. Then stop it. Because you know it's not going to happen. So don't bring unrealistic stuff into the equation.
Why can't I? You bring unrealistic stuff all the time.
Not at all. Not at all.
Words.
Stats. Him. That's him. Him and
no, I
got nothing on him.
Pristine
you just wrong right there.
And unique
You're wrong
insight.
right there. Listen, okay, whatever.
Stats, that's fair.
Whatever.
Let's
The
do it
point
that
that I'm
way.
trying to make you, well, not only do I bring the words and all the stats, but I'm also showing up to games, so I'm reporting. But that's neither here nor there.
And the charisma, by the way.
Absolutely.
I mentioned my charisma.
Always the charisma. That would be mine, not
the
yours.
egos,
The point is this.
the
Hold on. The other thing is this. Dak Prescott. I'm not trying to take anything away from that young brother. Not at all. But because he's a fourth-round pick and because he's a rookie, I'm wondering how much does the offensive line beating folks up, along with Ezekiel Elliott, who we all recognize has, talk about Mars attacks. That big head of his, it's news if that dude gets a concussion. It's news if that dude gets a concussion. Yeah, I know he can give them, but I don't know about that. I don't know about the last running back I ever saw with a head that size was O.J. Simpson. That's the last time. Sorry to bring him up because obviously the two don't compare. But the point that I'm trying to make to you, the size of that head of his.
Big noggin.
What a massive, massive head. And so, listen, if he gets a concussion.
So he gets to win the MVP because his head's big?
He's running the football well. He's imposing, he's inflicting punishment. Okay, all of those things play a role. He's producing numbers-wise, producing wins-wise, and he's distributing
the weight
punishment.
of that head, he's so fast.
And distributing punishment.
He's leaning forward.
Oh, that's a good point.
Leaning forward.
So DeMarco Murray.
I think you would duck from him. I really do. I really do.
Whatever.
That head.
DeMarco Murray, right, wins the rushing title 2 years ago.
Right.
Darren McFadden, who can play, but who's a candle, right? One blow and he's out. He rushes for over 1,000 yards behind this same line.
I agree with you.
Right? So can you imagine the pressure, not only being the Dallas Cowboy starting quarterback, right? But being on a team where Tony Romo sits and watches every game.
I don't think
knowing that when he comes back,
totally agree. Dak to me is ahead of Ezekiel Elliott on that team. I agree with your order. Offensive line 1, Dak 2.
I don't believe about that
3.
pressure about Zach though, because I think he was playing with house money.
I want to say one thing about DeMarco Murray.
Sure.
DeMarco Murray is a B+ running back at least. But behind that Dallas Cowboys line, he looked like an A+. Zeke is an A running back running behind an A++ line.
Yeah,
so
great.
he looks
it's great
all
for Dallas.
world.
It's great for those Cowboys.
They'll still lose. All
right.
They're going to Super Bowl.
Someone else who's losing. That bad man, Stephen A. He's been pretty bad. What is the deal? So it's officially time to panic in Green Bay. Don't miss those excuses coming up next. And after waffling on Dak and Romo, Jerry Jones finally has his plan set for Big D's QB situation.
Hi, I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and the people of Jamaica love and watch First Take.